Welcome to the Inside Out podcast. I'm your host, JoJo, and this is where we will navigate the mess together. That is mental, emotional, and spiritual. Let's get messy. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. So today I have Lisa Morton with me, and you guys, you're going to want to hear this one. She spent over 20 years as an interior designer and specifically working on private jets. Like, sounds like the dream job, right? Well, hold on, we'll get there. The whole time that she was working in this space as an interior designer, there was stuff that was coming up for her in her body, digestion issues, back spasm, and it just was that kind of situation where everything looked really perfect from the outside, but you feel like you're really falling apart on the inside. So she started switching gears. She found Feng Shui and became a master teacher in it. And she's now the creator of the Intuitive Home Method and host of the Feng Shui Living podcast. And she's also the author of Aligned at Home, which is an incredible book. You guys need to read it. And I just want to caveat this really quick, because when we think about Feng Shui, we think of like changing our entire, homes and rearranging everything and redoing the entire interior. And you guys, that's not what this is. So if you're already rolling your eyes, like, what is this? Is it just energy? How do I redo my whole house? No. Trust me, you're going to want to just listen, because it really opened my eyes to something and I'm just really excited. So Lisa, welcome to Inside Out.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited and I love that intro. It was so kind.
Well, it's true. I mean, I'm reading your book and there's so much in here, and I really have just been loving the kind of rewiring of my own brain of what Feng Shui is. And when I was originally introduced to Feng Shui, I really thought it was like, get rid of everything, redo everything. Everything has to be different. And I was like, okay, but I picked up your book and I've just moved. And I was like, okay, but I've literally just moved and everything's been curated so perfectly. And am I going to have to redo everything? And what I started to realize by, reading through these pages was it's about the flow of the space and what it does for you and your nervous system. And I wanted to kind of just hear it straight from you, because you do such a beautiful job explaining this and walking through the pages, and listening to your podcast has been so insightful. I mean, there's a million things going through my brain right now, but it's so why Feng Shui, and what was that tipping point for you?
It's funny because I was I'd hit burnout, and then I was trying to heal my body and heal myself. And I was doing the yoga, the meditation. I was going to the retreats, and I was walking every day and doing all the things. And it's funny because I didn't look at my home environment. As a designer, I had looked at it as a space that's beautiful, right, and functional. I didn't understand the energetic approach. That wasn't even in my vocabulary, energy, right? So it was when I got into that everything started shifting. And part of my reason for writing the book and doing my podcast and everything is because it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like, oh my gosh, do I have to remodel my entire house? Do I have to take out a wall? And no, we think to have big shifts in our life, we have to do big things. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's as simple as I go into a client's home and rotate a chair 50 degrees.
Wow.
And life shifts. I want to encourage everyone to be open that life, it can be a little easier to make these shifts in our life, right? And the shifts in our home environment then influence our body and our day to day.
There's something that you just said, which was burnout. You hit burnout working at what you thought was your dream job. I mean, come on. In interior design for private jets, that really is such a cool sounding job. And from the outside in, it probably is very elegant and fancy. You're flying here and with this billionaire there, and oh my gosh, this yacht. And it sounds insanely beautiful and cool. Why was it burnout for you? And why did it show up in such a crazy way in your body? Like you said, with the back spasms and the digestion issues, among other things.
It was fantastic. I traveled the world to interesting places I probably would never normally travel to. I got to meet outrageous people. I used some really, really special materials. It was fantastic. But there was a lot of pressure. I joke that I worked for 7 years straight. I never had a day off. If you planned a day off and someone wanted to fly in from Istanbul to discuss something, you had to be there at Sunday at 4 o'clock when they would arrive, right? I mean, I could
Mhm.
never buy a concert ticket. I could never go on my own vacation. And I loved that. I loved being a workaholic. I was a perfectionist. I worked the hardest. I became a senior designer in my 20s. I mean, I did it. I
You did
just
the
pushed and
thing. You
pushed.
did it.
Yeah. And then it just really, I think it was a mix of the pressures, right? Because it's not a $3,000 rug going in a room. It is a $30,000 carpet going in a plane, right? And so if something goes wrong, oh my gosh, I had this pressure on myself. I could never make a mistake.
Mhm.
That and my own perfectionism, which I didn't even realize was a thing until this. But I remember I went to the doctor because I thought I had a heart condition. I had no idea I was struggling with stress and anxiety and everything and overwhelm. I literally, because I grew up, in the 80s and 90s, we did not sit around the dining table discussing stress reduction techniques, right?
Mm.
That wasn't a
Mhm.
word. We didn't talk about that. I had no idea what was actually happening in my body. I knew I was a little nervous and stressed, but I didn't realize that it could get to that point. Um,
Yeah.
and it was a really hard place to be, but I also see it that was a rebirth. Going through that and having to leave my dream job was so shameful. It was really hard for a long time.
Mhm.
But it was a beautiful rebirth for me to explore and realize who I wanted to be, what was important to me, not just making all the money and doing all the things and going all the places, right? It was just
Mhm.
being happy and in my day to day life. And I found joy in other things. And so it was a really beautiful experience in the end, after the fact, after the
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah. Definitely. I think it's so telling when our body speaks and like it shows up in like but it shows up in ways that we can like just think it's something else, like a digestion issue. We're not going to tie
Mhm.
that to like be like a negative work environment or something that's not
Right.
like helpful for us. What made you link the two?
Mm. I think there was just absolutely no denying it.
Mm.
I was having panic attacks all the time.
Okay.
We had this beautiful, luxurious design room, right, with this closet filled with even more beautiful, luxurious samples and everything that we'd go and pull from. And I would go in this beautiful closet filled with amazing materials and have a panic attack. Right? That was happening often.
Yeah.
Um, I think there was just no denying it. I felt so broken in my body from the back spasms, the digestion, the stomach problems. I couldn't eat. I couldn't get anything down. I couldn't sleep. I
Hmm.
couldn't sleep for anything. I was exhausted. My whole body hurt. And there was just no denying that it was all coming together. It was all just one thing. I didn't really
Wow.
know how to fix it, but I at least put it together that I was just not meant to be in this space in my life anymore.
And so tell me what you thought of feng shui before you even got into it. Like what did you believe in it? Did you know what it was? Like how did that happen?
I had read a book, I think back in design school, there was like a paragraph about it, right, in a book. I think I wasn't closed off from it. I just this world was not in my vocabulary, right? I just did not even think about energy in a space and how
Hmm.
our environment might um impact us. I just didn't even cross my mind, right? And so this was really an eye-opening moment to dive in. I did my first certification back in 2011. I started my training and I did 4 big certifications throughout the years. I'm one of those people, if I'm going to dive in, I want to like dive in and be an
Yeah.
expert and fully understand. And it was kind of a bucket list thing to get to master teacher. So I got there about 2 years ago.
Wow,
Um,
congrats.
and I know it changed my life. It helped me create an environment that supported my nervous system when I needed it most. I was healing and I didn't know then what I know now. I think back when I was stressed and anxious and unable to sleep, I had a red headboard. Now, my thought was I'd recently, just gotten married and I read it was romance and love, and I made it. I had this fantastic fabric that I snagged from work. It's luxurious. And I wrapped this piece of wood and made this beautiful headboard. And, I look back now and red is not supportive in helping you sleep, helping you rest your body. We want to avoid
Mm-hmm.
red in the bedroom. So,
Yeah.
you live and learn.
So color, the color palettes of your space. So someone who has already like designed, painted, has their furniture, all the things, and maybe they have red in their bedroom, like what are little things that they can do to like maybe their sleep is being affected? Like what can they do to kind of adapt and shift that
Mhm. I really would recommend removing red from the bedroom. It is just so
completely?
powerful. Yes, it's that
Mm,
powerful. In Feng Shui, everything leans either yin or yang. Yin is quiet, spa feeling.
mhm,
Yang is very loud. I always think of a casino, right? And red is just so vibrant, has such high energy to it. It's like
mhm,
summertime, right? When life is exciting and it's hot and there's music and pool parties, right? And we don't need that vibe. We need that spa vibe in our bedroom.
mhm,
So I
mhm.
recommend removing it if you can. Bring in natural colors, neutral colors, cream, beige, tan, brown, chocolates, pale green, pale blue, maybe a pale blush pink color. Just go really soft and really gentle in your bedroom. And it may not be the most fun designed space, but it's going to support your sleep. Have fun, get the wild colors, the wild patterns, put those in a more active space in the kitchen, in a workout space, wherever you want that higher energy. Go wild in there. But
Mm,
just
mhm.
devote your bedroom to that peaceful space of serenity and rejuvenation.
Okay. Before we go deeper, because I want to ask about like the energy centers of your home and what
Mhm.
really the aligned home is and how people can support relationships and finances and health.
Mm.
Um, what would you say to a skeptic or someone who's like, huh? Like how would
That
you
was
like
me one
explain?
day.
Yeah. Well, how did you kind of like
Yeah.
break through that barrier and like what would you say to them to kind of like bring them over to the I don't know, to not be so woo about it and really like
Yeah,
ground what
it
this
does
is.
feel woo sometimes
It really
because
does.
sometimes it's easy, right? It isn't a huge remodel to make a shift, so we automatically think it's just kind of woo and out there, but it's a really grounded. We know that color affects our nervous system, right? We know this. Color psychology. We know blues are calming and
Mhm.
hot, warm colors, reds and oranges lift our energy. We know this. We know that lighting affects our moods. I get kind of cranky. I live in the north, and about January, February, when there isn't a lot of sunshine, I can get a little cranky, right? I know a lot of other people are the same.
Totally.
Um, Furniture arrangement. If you have a sofa, if you're in a living room and you have a sofa against one wall and the other sofa is all the way across the other wall, there's no intimate conversation going to happen there. It's going to be dead, not very nice conversations. They're not even going to interact, right? So these are all
Yeah.
really grounded things if you think about it, but we're
Mhm.
just doing it in a unique way. Um, Feng Shui was first documented over 4,000 years ago. And since then, just like so many other things, yoga, whatever, it's there's different schools or sects or styles of feng shui. And I have I have trained in three styles, but I think I've kind of created my own just approach just because I've been in homes for 25 years, right? I've seen not just doing feng shui, but traditional design and seeing how people live and move and interact with one another in their
Mhm.
home environment. Um, so it's really important, I say, first off, is to understand that there are these different schools or styles. And that's actually part of the reason I wrote the book, because I found it so incredibly overwhelming years ago when I was like, what is this feng shui business? Is it woo? Is it real? And I would read one book, and then the next book would tell me to do something different. And then the next book would contradict the first one, but do something different than the second. And I just was so thoroughly confused. And I find a lot of people are like that. And so I think that might be why people feel it's woo or just it's not a real thing. But I would say try it. What do you have to lose?
I agree. I
Right?
mean, there was something that you said in your podcast specifically. You have like a three, you guys have to go hear it. This will all be linked in the show notes, but it's like 3 episodes on wealth. And you at one point you were like, move 27 items around your space. So I did that. And also you're like, look at the map, and I want to get to the map of your home
Mhm.
and like where you have like the money corner and like the this and that and like the relationship and health. But you said put something red there. Now, what's funny is my money corner, my wealth center, energy
Yeah.
center is in my bedroom.
Okay.
So red
Well,
and
I would
bedrooms
do
don't
a
align.
small dose of red.
Well, I found
Another
a
option.
picture of
Okay.
my mom and I when I was like a child, but I'm wearing red. So I was like, "Ooh, we'll put that in that corner." Little tiny.
I
I like
love that
kind of
though. Not a
yeah.
red wall, but something smaller. That's great. Or anything that feels luxurious. I have so my wealth and abundance corners in my laundry room. So what am I going to do to make it? But I have some beautiful kind of luxurious costume jewelry from my husband's grandmother. And it's not stuff I would wear. She was a very fancy lady and had beautiful jewelry, but this was also her fun costume jewelry, and it was
Mm,
just above and beyond. And so I put it in this cabinet, and it sounds weird, but I just, I peek at it once in a while. It's in there amongst the laundry stuff. And it sounds weird, but brings me joy. And like, it
mm,
makes me think of, oh my gosh, luxury. Bring in, if it's not your laundry room, right? Maybe a bedroom or some space, home office or something. Bring in anything that makes you feel luxurious.
mm,
Amp up, right? If it's your dining room, get the best dishes you can afford. Get some
mm.
beautiful cloth napkins. Get out the beautiful glassware every time you're eating, because you deserve it, right? We
I
deserve
love
these
it.
little moments of luxury. It doesn't have to be outrageous. It can be just beautiful coloring. I always think of purple. We think of
Mhm,
royalty, right? That's great to add into that space. Or royal blue, gold, green makes you think of money.
mhm,
Whatever
mhm.
things makes you think of money and luxury, go for it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the how to find
Mm.
the energy centers of, is it energy centers? Is that what
Mhm.
it's
So
called?
it's called a Bagua map, and there are 9 different guas. Bagua means 8 sections with 8, then there's a ninth center section, and you can find that in the book.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is we overlay this over top of a home, and then this is, again, I'm a yogi too, so and some people might understand this better. I think of the Bagua map as almost like the chakra system. Your home kind of has its own energy map. Yeah.
If you're
And
watching, you guys, this is the map.
so you can simply sketch out your floor plan and then overlay this over the top. Now, is everyone's floor plan a perfect square? No. That's where we get kind of a little more in depth. There's 2 sides of this work. There's one side, my podcast, the book. You can easily do so many great things that will have a big impact. There's also
Mhm.
another side where you have a unique home. You have very specific goals. You really want that big shift in your life. That's when it's important to work one on one with someone where we dive deep into your home,
Oh.
right? It's not just a generic, this is what you should do. I look at everything from what's going on outside of your home. Do you have trees? Do you have neighbors? Are you in a condo? Is there a mountain to the side, right? Or at the ocean? And then we go in, we look at your specific layout. I understand who lives there, down to how many pets you have and where they spend their time. And then we talk about your specific goals and what you want. And when I talk goals, I have so many clients that are humble and well, I just want it to feel really nice. And I'm like, no, what do you really want? And when I push them, then it will come out. I really dream of starting this business, or I really am ready to grow my family. I really need to reduce stress. I really want to get a red convertible, right? And then we can look at your
Perfect.
space and set it up, right?
The more specific you are, the more you can actually like achieve it. If you're just like, yeah, I just want maybe this. But
Exactly.
how are you going to get there if you don't know what it is?
Right?
Be
Right? So
specific.
I actually created a complimentary workbook to go along with the book because I'm a big fan of journaling. You can
Definitely.
have thoughts, idea, and whatever ideas up in your head, but when you put pen to paper and it really comes out, sometimes it even shifts, I've found. So I recommend writing things down. If you do like the support of a workbook, there is a workbook you can snag on Amazon that goes along with it. But another thing I love about the Bagua map is that it encourages you to think of different aspects of your life that you might not normally think about. Maybe your goals are just, I want to make X amount of dollars this year. Well, this forces you to check in. How are my relationships in life? Right? How is my health? Do I have a connection to my family and my ancestors? Right? Am I learning? Am I growing as an individual? So it kind of pushes you to consider these other areas, right? Because then they're all going to flow together. Doesn't mean you have to have a goal for each one, but it's helpful to just have a baseline, to just have a space to kind of, okay, just do a little inventory and see where you are.
So, as someone who hears that and thinks, well, how does my, and wants to challenge it and like says, like, well, how does my relationship with my ancestors get me X amount of dollars? What do you say to that?
So we have these different areas. So your connection, it's all going to flow throughout. I use what's called a 3-gate method, and I overlay this over the top of your home, right? And this map also follows how Chinese medicine, how energy flows throughout your body, right? So it
Yeah.
flows in a specific pattern. We also want to look at how it's flowing from the front door, right? The front door is considered the mouth of chi. This is where energy comes in, new opportunities, right? If your front door isn't being used, you might feel kind of stuck and stagnant in life and opportunities. Maybe you're waiting to get that job promotion and it's not coming. I know someone who's trying to get a book deal and she's been waiting and waiting and waiting. And I keep telling her she has a beautiful chest in front of her front door. She lives in a very, very, very old home. It's really unique, really beautiful. And she has this elaborate, enormous chest in front of the front door.
Hmm.
Like, you move that, I guarantee the book deal will come. But it's when we can look at our space, get energy flowing throughout because spaces get stagnant. We either don't use a space or things get broken. And when we can get energy flowing throughout, I always think of water. If it's flowing in through the front door, is it flowing into different spaces? Right? Or is it
Mm,
too cluttered and you can't even get around, so energy can't get around?
mm.
Um, Or is it the opposite, right? It's rushing too fast. That's another issue. So we want to get just the right flow of energy filling the different spaces, filling the different rooms and the different quads.
And to do that more specifically, it's recommended to like work one on one with someone because or can someone like pick up the book and kind of like figure it out?
I mean, I think to a point you can.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote the book so people can go home and make some tweaks today or the podcast is like 20 minutes and go home and do this today or this weekend, right? And
Um,
that's the purpose of it. But if you really I work with two sides of people, I guess. One who are, hey, I just want to improve. I just want things to be better. I'm feeling a little stuck and I just want a little direction.
right.
Go to the book, go to the podcast, listen to whoever you like to listen to about this stuff, right? The other side is people who maybe went through divorce, major illness, loss of a family member. They're looking. I recently worked with someone who is trying to grow their family and having difficulty conceiving their second child, right? A
Mhm.
big thing. It's frustrating. It takes a lot. We have to go really deep at times.
Yeah.
hmm But I think you have so much power. And I think there's a lot of power with intention as well.
It's so cool how the energy areas, like if you open the book to that page, I think it was like page like 70 or something. Um, and you look at like what color palettes like belong, it was page 70.
Cool.
Like wealth and abundance, purple, green, blue, red, you said. And
Mhm.
then like looking at like health, the health center, and it's like the yellow, orange, and brown. What's interesting is I was looking at MySpace against this,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I'm naturally kind of intuitively, had no idea, by the way. It's like very much this. And I look at the last place that I moved from, and it still was in like the color alignments and like energy center. And somehow I was just kind of in that flow. So if you're like questioning it, maybe there is some intuitive part of you that's kind of naturally going there or wanting that or doing it without knowing that you're doing it. So
Mhm.
that was really interesting.
I think that
Um,
happens often. I think we sometimes don't listen to ourselves and we're like, no, that doesn't really mean anything. But if we're craving something, you're craving a color, you're craving a pattern or texture or something, listen to that. It has something to say.
yeah, it's really strange because like as I mentioned, my wealth and abundance corner specifically is in my bedroom. And looking at the colors, it's purples, it's greens,
Mm,
and I'm like and like some pastel-y like whites, not pastels, beige and
okay.
whites, and some gold. And I was like, "N- this wasn't planned. Like I had no idea. Like I've been very I've heard of feng shui. My brother
Mhm.
has used it way more than I have. And I remember his last apartment, like he completely worked to someone who like did the space the way that
Mhm.
was beneficial to what he was calling in. And but I haven't, and it's why I was so fascinated when we connected, and I wanted to dive deeper into this because I think it can really help people and like almost magically. That sounds
Mhm.
crazy.
It does, but it's empowering, right? It's a tool. It's another tool for your toolkit, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a purpose to do something and to create a space. I don't care what you're doing. If you just love on your home in some manner, I'm happy. Like bring in a
Yeah,
bouquet of flowers, right? Anything
absolutely.
you do in a positive direction will uplift the energy of your home and then in turn your body and your life. So I'd be curious to go back and ask you about your bedroom.
Okay,
And
go
how
for it.
you feel. I mean, are you financially happy with where you're at? Do you feel like you're doing well?
Yeah, I am. I mean, obviously room for like growth, but
Who
I
doesn't,
made
right?
right, right, of course. No, it's very interesting because I made a huge shift recently. I moved from where I was for almost 11 years to a brand new place that I've never lived in, and honestly, it like wasn't even on my radar. It was so crazy how it all happened, but I I didn't move like with a job for a job. Like it was like I need to do this for me and my like soul.
I
And
love that.
doors have opened and things have like fallen into place that are illogical, like literally illogical. And I designed this place in my head long before I even moved in. And I mean long before I even had the physical apartment. Like I knew I wanted it to be earthy and grounded. My last place was a little bit more, it was just different. It was just very,
Okay.
very different. But this place is like you walk in and it's like a sanctuary. I'm actually
Mm,
so interested to see what you would think of it, like from
love
a
it.
feng shui
Yes. Oh my
master's
gosh,
like
I wanna see it.
eye and like be like, oh wow. But it really just all like came together so seamlessly. And again, paying way more than I was in my last place that I was living. And like, but all the other parts have kind of caught up and fallen into place because I was like, I'm gonna elevate. I
Mhm.
don't know how, but I'm going to. And energetically making that shift for myself has like again opened doors that is just like mind blowing to me.
I'm not
So
surprised at all by the way you describe
yeah,
your room.
interesting. And my room that was like not planned. Like I was
Mhm.
like, when I see it, I will know. Like
Okay.
from the bedding to the material around the bed, like the upholstered bed I got, like I had something completely else in mind. And then the lamps and like literally everything just was like, I saw it and I was like, that's it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now you need to trust your intuition a little more, right?
It's true.
I feel like I'm coaching you here. I don't mean to take over.
That's
But
okay.
I'm like,
No,
what would
I
be your
love
next
it.
goal? Like, what is your next goal in life? You're doing well financially. Where else do you want to go? What else do you want to do?
Well, I want to expand financially for sure.
Okay,
I
well,
don't think that's
sure.
like, I think that's like, that's growing.
That's it.
And maybe a little bit more linearly rather than like, wait a second,
Mhm.
what? Like,
Yeah.
um,
Sometimes it can feel a little unsteadying. A
mhm.
lot of things shift at once, right? So you have to just make sure you're grounded. Sometimes during those times, I might put colors near my body. So my environment's done, right? Well, I can still feng shui myself, or I'll even shift through the seasons or certain days, right? But I believe in wearing certain colors, right?
Oh,
And
interesting.
having that near your body, or I might be sitting in my office. I talked about the winter blahs, right? And I get the winter blahs so bad in January, February, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I have this bright fuchsia wrap on the back of my chair, and I just drape it over my shoulders, and I see it out of my peripheral vision, and it helps lift my energy.
Oh my gosh. That's brilliant.
So wear those things, bring them around your
Yeah.
body, or even just have them in your vision, off to a
Mm,
side. A certain grounding color would be chocolate brown
mhm.
and or beige, tan, warm, creamy white colors. Um, maybe any type of beige, tan, brown chocolate, or anything from the earth. So maybe you have a beautiful piece of pottery and you want to have that sitting on the table next to you. So
Wow.
it's just
Yeah.
near you.
I like that. I completely relate to the winter blues because again, living in New York for as long as I did, it was like that seasonal depression. It was just like outrageous. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good color. We love color.
I know, it's so fun. I actually have a free color mastery class that I do. I think the next one is mid-September-ish, but I do it like every couple months. It's free all online and just it's a live class I do, and we talk color psychology, feng shui effects of color, how to pick out a color palette for your home, like where to start. It's
Wow.
super fun.
All right, you guys, that will also be linked in the show notes because that, I mean, if you have no idea where to start,
Yeah,
come to a free class. Like that's
right?
easy, amazing. I want
Right.
to talk to you about clutter because when we
Mm.
think about like clutter in the mind, in the home, I mean, I know for myself, like if everything is dirty, like in the sink, like if I know that dishes are in the sink
Mhm.
or my bed isn't made or like laundry's everywhere, I'm like, no, like I literally can't function. What does clutter actually do? What does it block? What can you tell me about clutter?
I mean, we all know clutter is frustrating, right? It brings on all these emotions. It's really just unmade decisions,
Whoa.
right? It
Okay.
really
Clutter
is.
is unmade. Yeah.
I
Cause you have no
know.
idea like where it's going to go yet. Huh.
It sounds like a lot, but it really, truly is. We want to avoid clutter. Now, let's be honest. We all have stuff. My husband calls me a piler. I have this spot in the kitchen counter where I pile things. We all have some sort of clutter. The point here is to be mindful of it
Okay.
and to handle it and not let it get out of control, to clean it up, to reset. Um, if you have excess clutter, dive in, do what you can. The more you can clear clutter out of your space, the better any feng shui adjustments will be, the more powerful, right? If we have stuff, right? I talked about the water flowing throughout your space. If you have clutter everywhere, it could flow. Water can flow and energy can't flow. So we want to have clear, open paths. We also don't want the opposite, right? Where it's too sparse. We
Hmm.
want furniture and those things we love filling our space, but not the clutter and unused, unloved, unwanted items.
Mm,
There's also another side of clutter that I find interesting. It's when it's not always all the stuff. Sometimes it's one thing,
okay.
that one thing that's standing in your way. The one,
I.e., the chest potentially in
the
front of the door.
chest. I had a client who had her father had passed and she had a box of paperwork to go through. And she was avoiding it because she didn't want to go through the emotions of dealing with it and put it off for years. And this box was sitting in the corner of her home. And she called me she was hoping to get a new job and move and just move forward with her life. And so we got to talking about different things, and specifically this box. We dove in and like, tell me what's going on. And she's like, I just can't do it right now. Okay. Right. And I want to be respectful. If she wasn't ready for it, that's okay. But then what happened was the box then moved down to the basement. Okay. These things, I always say it's like a cell phone pinging us, right? They're subconsciously pinging us, even though we don't realize it. So at first she was annoyed, consciously and subconsciously, by the box. And then she moved it to the basement. And then it became this issue that she was frustrated every time she'd walk past the basement door. Right? Right? Not even realizing why or what was going on. And so I really encouraged her to go through the box, and you would not believe what happened. Again, it feels magical and weird, but she went through the box. She's like, Lisa, it was not that bad. It was not that bad. I had it cooked up in my head. There was going to be so much more. I went through the paperwork, filed some stuff away, got rid of a bunch of stuff. And it was like a month later, she got a new job and moved, and we set her up in a new home and everything. So think about those specific things, whether it's a piece of furniture, paperwork, a family heirloom that you have a certain feeling about. Just because someone gave us something at one time doesn't mean they expect us to keep it forever.
It's so interesting that you told that story, because it just an anecdote from before I moved and before everything in my life kind of opened up in a way that made illogical sense. I knew I needed to leave New York. I didn't know how I was going to, but when the time was right, I wanted to be able to just pack and leave and not have to like do all the decluttering then or go through everything then. And what I did was I think it was like every weekend or something, I went through like a different area. It was first my bedroom, then it was my closet, and then it was the credenza, and then it was like my kitchen, and then it was the junk drawer, and then it was, just different sections of my life, and the things that I'd collected over the 10 years of being in New York. And I found old things from like old boyfriends, old like letter notes. And I was just like, why am I holding on to this stuff? Like, it's not creating any movement forward. It's probably not allowing a relationship to come into my life. It's not allowing things to deepen or whatever it was. And I kid you not, when I think it was, I finished like the last junk drawer, like last part of my home right before the new year. I was like, I'm going to go into 2026 like fresh.
Nice.
It was within 2 months that I found the place that I was going to live. The decision was made. And when I moved, it was so much more simple because everything just flowed. And also, not to mention, my relationship completely deepened and changed because I had let go of all this old energy that was just lingering. That, I hadn't like consciously remembered it. I was like, oh yeah, that was from this person and that was that memory. And I was just like, what? Like, I think we're sentimental about things, kind of to your point of holding on to stuff from a loved one, and why that might be, we think good, it might actually be holding us back from an energetic flow, is what I'm hearing you also kind of say.
Just be really mindful, right? Look at these things and really, I even say, take whatever item, hold it in your hands and just ask yourself, does this lift my energy or does it bring it down? Simple. Then you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or what is it, Marie Kondo? Does this spark joy?
Yes. Yes, I love how you bring her up.
Joyful, but does this make me feel good or not good?
What about that junk drawer? Like the one that you're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like an old, I don't know, it's not even old nail, but like, oh, the piece of the humidifier that I don't know, like random things you just throw in.
Or scissors, right? We all need that space. Here's something I want you to do. Reframe it. Instead of calling it the junk drawer, call it a supply drawer. Brilliant. I kid you not. If you start calling it the supply drawer, you will respect that drawer. Before you know it, you'll be getting the dividers, the organizers, and everything will stay organized. It's all about that
Mm.
reframe. I swear it sounds weird and simple. It's huge. Call it something different. If you're
Um,
calling it the junk drawer, that's how your mind feels about it. You're going to just throw stuff in and just always be annoyed by it.
that's a
Maybe you want to
beautiful
call it the
reframe.
luxury goods drawer. I don't know.
Oh, that's so good.
Reframe it, right?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay, so even old clothes and clutter and all the things that we're holding on to, if people are like attached to it and like don't want to let it go, but they know that something is bigger on the other side of that or needs to shift, what is something you would tell them?
Mm. I always say this. Make sure that everything in your home is worthy of being there, is worthy of being around you, around your loved ones. So if it's not, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the landfill, right? Recycle, donate, give
Hmm.
away. There's so many amazing people out there who will take something that you don't need anymore and they refinish it, repurpose it. So let it be somebody else's passion. If you only sort of kind of maybe like it on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Let it go unless you really feel like this is something I want near my body, near my energy field, near my children, my pets, my family, my extended family on holidays, right? Let it go.
Yeah.
We get so attached to things so easily, but be
It's
mindful of what's
ridiculous.
really worthy of that and
Yeah.
what we're just hanging on to because maybe we just don't want to deal with it or make
Hmm.
a decision.
When you think of your book title, Aligned at Home, and you walk into someone's space, not from a judgmental standpoint, of course, but just from an observer standpoint, can you tell kind of immediately who's like a little bit more off the alignment than like someone who is? And what are some of those things that really stand out to you?
So for me, I kind of said earlier, I've really just developed my own way of doing this, right? And I think there's definitely an intuitive side too.
Hmm.
Um, I was thinking about this a while back and I was telling someone I compared it to when you go to the doctor and you have an x-ray, they look at this film and or this image and they see this is what's going on and something happened here and we need to do surgery on this, right?
Hmm.
I see black and white blobs on a piece of paper. It means nothing to me.
Hmm.
My work, I can walk into your home. Actually, 98% of my work is all virtual. So I can look at your floor plan and some photos of your home. And it sounds weird, but I can tell you some mind-boggling things about your life and what's going on. Just because I've done it for so long, it's just pattern recognition. It's just seeing things in an environment. Um,
So if I pulled up a picture of my home right now, you would be able to be like, you'd be able to call me out.
Pretty much.
Really? We're going to put this to the test.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun.
We're putting this to the test right now. If you're not watching, you might want to turn to video and watch because let's see.
I would floor plans tell me the most.
Oh,
And I
okay.
might even sometimes, if I've had clients, they call me about one thing and I'm like, "Can we talk about your health?" They're like, "Oh, sure." But I really wasn't thinking about that. I'm like, well, I wonder if there's something there. Maybe in the future you might have some health issues or in the past or like right now I'm going through XYZ.
Mm.
Your
Well, I
floor plan
don't
says
have
a
the
lot.
floor plan because it's like an apartment. So it's just like a
Okay.
one bedroom that I'm living in. But let me.
There's another I use a lot with the five elements. As you're looking, I'll tell you the five elements are fire, water, wood, earth, and metal. And we want to have all of these somewhat present in our space for harmony.
Hmm.
So I might look at an image and they have wood floors, wood cabinetry, green, a green rug, green dishes, right? And there's too much wood element. right?
Interesting.
So
Okay.
that causes everything to be off. You might feel like your life, this room, you might have a lot of tension or frustration in your life because of too much wood, too much growth and renewal, right? Yeah. So we need to keep it somewhat in harmony.
Okay, this is going to be, let's just show you my living room.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I don't know if it's
Okay,
focusing.
so a lot of white for a metal element. So it's a lot of focus and clarity, a lot of wood for growth. You have like focused growth.
Mm.
But I wonder, okay, this is so interesting. I wonder,
This is another. Oh my gosh,
do
it's
you feel stifled at all? Like maybe you could find a little more go with the flow, a little more ease in life?
do I have
Because you don't have any water element that I
I have
saw.
no water.
Yeah, so water brings in this fluid feeling, artistic, creative, just kind of, I always say go like loosey goosey feeling, right?
Huh.
Something to think about.
Yeah. That's the flip side of the
Oh gosh, yes, so much metal.
so
I
on the
like
other
your
side is
yours. That
the
helps.
living room.
I would definitely bring some metal in. I'm sorry, some
Metal,
water in.
water.
So the color blue or black. Maybe you could do a little tabletop fountain or some artwork showing, a beach photo with the water,
Ooh.
or a blue fabric or a wavy pattern. So if you don't love blue and black, just something with a wavy pattern, maybe a rug with like a wavy design to it.
Mm.
Anything to bring in that fluid feeling.
Would like a diffuser with like a water fountain work?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Flow.
when you after
Okay.
this experiment, you have to let me know. I always say give everything 6 weeks. So I have clients that will be like, "Oh, I don't know. I really like the TV in the bedroom," which is a whole nother topic. And I'm like, "Okay, give me 6 weeks, you will sleep better. If you don't like it, then you change it back." You can
Mm.
totally change it back, but nobody ever changes it back.
Yeah, I'm now back to like sleeping with my phone plugged in the kitchen, unless I
Mhm.
absolutely
Mhm.
need it for an alarm in the morning, which is
Yes.
sometimes, but that's usually when I'm away for work.
Or just turn it up. That's my whole thing. Put
Oh
it in the next room. Turn the volume all the way up. If you need the alarm, if you're worried about elderly parents or kids calling you in the middle of the night, turn the volume up. You will hear it.
yeah.
It also
Well,
helps you get out of bed the next day when it's in the other room going
yeah.
off.
Instead of scrolling all night. I love
Yes.
it. Well, before I let you go, and also thank you for doing that little
So
experiment,
fun.
putting you on the spot there, putting me on the spot. I just showed everyone what my house looks like. Um, no one knows where I live. It's fine. I want to get messy mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So, mentally, what story do you think that we tell ourselves that keeps us living in a space that drains us?
That we're just fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Ooh.
Everything's okay.
Ooh. Okay. To go a step deeper, what is the emotion that's actually sitting underneath that?
Fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of change.
Mm.
That sounded like a question. That was a statement.
Did it sound like a question? Do you want to go deeper? Fear of changing what? Like, do you think it's fear that like if our whole life changes and we might outgrow certain things, or fear that like we have to change in order to like, or
I
just
think just
fear of
change
being
it,
different?
period, because it's hard.
Mm.
Here's the thing, I'm actually getting ready to do this, record my own podcast in the next couple days, and it's all about it's titled, "It's Not About the Remodel." I get a lot of people calling me, "Oh, we're gonna do a remodel, or we're gonna redo the front door, or we're gonna redo our bedroom. I wanna make sure it's set up right." And it's not about the redo.
Mm.
Once we start diving deeper, there's deep emotions why they're calling me, but they're fearful of saying it. They're fearful of bringing it up.
Mhm.
It's almost like they want me to dig. And I'm like, just, and I know when you're working with someone new, I've had clients, repeat clients many times over, we get to that space quicker. But
Mm.
there's so much fear of just saying, I'm fearful. I'm fearful of changing. I'm fearful of life changing. I'm fearful of, I don't know. There's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. So spiritually, let's see, when your home is aligned, what do you think really opens up?
Intuition. I think when it's set up already to support you, then you can trust more the messages that you get.
I love that. Ah, Lisa, thank you so much. And where can people find you, your color psychology class that you're going to be giving, your book? Plug all the things. And this will all
Oh
be
my
linked in the
God.
show notes.
My website is purelivingwithlisamorton.com. You can go there and snag my book. There's links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you order books. There's also a tab on there for school, which my classes. I teach a Feng Shui class, an interior design basics class. Color Mastery is on there. It's totally free, coming up in September. I also have a membership group called the Aligned at Home Collective, and it is really fun. We get together once a month, different topic, people from all over the country, amazing women. It's 1 hour of your month devoted to yourself and focusing on your home.
I love
And I guess social media at Pure Living with Lisa Morton.
Amazing. And are you taking new clients?
Yeah, always. I mean, you can always do a free 15-minute discovery call. If you want to learn more, we chat, figure out how I can help you. Of course, depends on the time of year to kind of how backed out I am,
Yeah.
how far out booked out I am. But, I work with everybody from wanting to, hey, should I buy this house? Can you do a quick 1 hour review of it and let me know if this is a good house to buy, to full in-depth 20-page reports of this is everything you need to know about your home that will serve you for years to come, right? And future projects and remodels, everything you need to know. There is also, I do energetic space clearing, which is definitely my more intuitive side. I do all remote clearings for new residences, for after going through illness, divorce, big shifts in life.
Amazing. You guys, this will all be linked in the show notes. And you know where to find me at _insideout.podcast on Instagram, on TikTok, and Substack is also a good place to stay in touch, see what's coming, get reminded of weekly episodes. And thank you guys for tuning in, and go look at your space. Maybe grab Lisa's, not maybe, definitely grab Lisa's book. Seriously, Lisa's like my Bible for the next, I don't know, few weeks while I just make some little tweaks and wait 6 weeks. And Lisa, you will be hearing from me. I will tell you how things are going. And yeah, you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time.